What is up? Welcome to the pod. So, what you used to do to lose fat isn't working anymore, but you want to lose fat. And so, what should you do? Let's dig into this. I hear a few things in relation to this topic really often, and they typically go something like, in my 20s and 30s, I did X and I lost fat really quickly. And now I do X and nothing happens. I think my metabolism has slowed down. Or, the last time I was on a diet, I did Y and got results. And now I do Y and my weight isn't budging. I think it might be age. There are three key questions to ask yourself here. The first one is, am I actually doing the exact same thing that I was doing before and getting a different result? Let's say that the answer is yes. The second question becomes, how do I know that? The answer to this question is usually, well, I remember. My question would be, what did you have for lunch on Tuesday 2 weeks ago? Unless you have the same lunch like a robot every single day, or there was some standout thing or event that took place, it is incredibly unlikely that any of us remembers with any degree of accuracy. Personally, I have no friggin' clue what I had for lunch on Tuesday 2 weeks ago. I couldn't name one meal with complete confidence that I had at any point on Tuesday 2 weeks ago, let alone the actual portions of any of those meals. And herein lies the problem. Human memory is wildly flawed. And so if you can't remember what you ate for lunch 2 weeks ago, how can you possibly accurately remember your nutrition and movement habits from 2 months ago, 2 years ago, or 20 years ago? I actually tested this recently because I was thinking back to how my nutrition looked in 2020, 2021, and I thought to myself, oh yeah, I was doing X, Y, and Z, and everything was going a certain way, and now I'm doing X, Y, and Z, and the outcome is a little different. I've been periodically recording what and how much I've been eating and drinking over the years very accurately via MyFitnessPal. And I thought, I think I was recording then. I'll go back in the app and take a look at that time period. So I did that. And it turns out that what I remember doing was pretty darn different than what I was actually doing. It was eye-opening to say the least. And fortunately, I had that information, and so I made the appropriate adjustments right away, and shocker, the result changed. And that result was exactly what I got in 2020, 2021. To take this a step further, I do this stuff for a living. I'm either talking about nutrition and lifestyle or researching nutrition and lifestyle virtually all day, every day, and my recollection was still that off. Point being, relying on memory in regards to nutrition, movement, sleep, and stress management data is unreliable at best. If you don't have this data recorded and on hand, you can almost certainly assume that you are missing something. Also, even if you do have your nutrition info recorded, let's say, it's important to ask yourself, how accurate is it? Are there specific portions written down, or are they just guesstimated, i.e., a handful of nuts or a scoop of peanut butter? Did you track 7 days per week, or more so from Monday morning to Friday afternoon? How did the weekends actually look? Did you record your alcohol intake? Did you account for your meals while you were drinking? How about eating out at restaurants, as well as things like treat meals? Were those tracked? What about your step counts? How many steps did you average per day over the course of not just weeks, but months or even years during that time? How about workouts? How many times per week were you working out, and how did those sessions look? What is your current body composition, and what was your body composition then? For example, if you are 20 pounds lighter right now, well, every single activity that you did then versus now is going to burn fewer calories because you are doing said activities with 20 less pounds on you. And to emphasize this point, throw on a 20-pound weight vest for 24 hours and see what that feels like in terms of effort. It is a whole different ballgame. I.e., it's important that we're comparing apples to apples. The truth is that with stuff like this, we tend to just go by memory and or feeling. And feelings are awesome. They absolutely have their place. However, just like memory, they're super flawed and subjective. And so it's really tough to compare such subjective measures to very objective things, i.e., what and how much you are eating and how much you are moving. We've all experienced telling a story around a partner, friends, or family and someone saying, "That's not the way that happened." Or vice versa. A partner, friend, or family member is telling a story and you're like, "That played out completely differently than you remember it." Humans also have a tendency to embellish more and more over time. So for example, you've heard someone tell the same funny story over the years, and each time it tends to get just a little bit more outlandish. I've actually caught myself doing this, being like, I'm almost positive that I'm quote unquote remembering the story this way just because it sounds funnier. Point being, human memory is imperfect, and so is relying on subjective feelings from the past. And when they are combined, things tend to get even more convoluted. Now, what about the metabolism and how it may or may not relate to age? Is it stopping you from getting results despite doing the exact same thing? Fortunately not. And I say that from looking at the research, my personal experience, and 12 years of coaching clients. For example, the research doesn't support the idea of a slowing metabolism hindering fat loss. I'm in better shape than I was in my teens and 20s, and I'm now in my late 30s. And I can say the same about a whole bunch of my clients. But what has changed in these situations are habits and lifestyle. If you take a look at the transformations page on my website, there are folks that I've helped lose lots of fat in their 60s and 70s. Meaning, fortunately, your body composition is a reflection of your habits, not how long you've been alive. Now, hypothetically, even if age and or your metabolism were actually deterring you from losing fat, which they're not, but let's play this out, it still leaves you in the same position in the sense that even if the rules of the game have changed ever so slightly, which they haven't, the question becomes, do you still want to play or not? Do you want to lose fat and get healthier, even if it is just a tiny bit harder now versus then? If the answer is yes, nutrition, movement, sleep, and stress management are the things to focus on. Forget everything else. Forget supplements for fat loss that literally do not exist, and ditch ideas about needing to quote unquote balance your hormones to lose fat. The 4 pillars are what do that. Focus on the fundamentals, do them consistently, and it is only a matter of time until you get the result that you are after. And if results are your number one priority, this episode should be incredibly empowering because you can get the outcome that you want. Now, I'm definitely not saying that it's going to be easy, but you can do it. If it's a priority, you will make it happen. You are far more capable and resilient than you're likely giving yourself credit for. I see evidence of this every single day in my clients. If you're interested in applying for one-on-one nutritional coaching and/or workout design with me, you can click the link in the description below or head on over to n1fitness.com/coaching. If you're finding this info helpful and you'd like to, feel free to leave the pod a review on your favorite podcast platform, and you can follow me on Instagram at N1Fitness, on TikTok at the N1Fitness, and on YouTube at marcusadu/N1Fitness. If you want to stay up to date on the newest episode releases, feel free to hit that subscribe button. Thanks for tuning in. I hope that you found this episode useful, and I will catch you on the next one. See ya!